Yo, so I wanted to do something a little bit different today and kind of talk about what I do day to day. Right now, I'm working on a couple side projects where it's mainly just design focused. So I just wanted to take you through how I use GPT, Photoshop, and I guess like my years of experience in design and marketing to create some ads that will help you try to convert, right? So let's start with the first one that I was sent over. This is a lot for Facebook. Facebook already flagged this as there's too much text on there. It's just you don't know where to look. The one thing that I like to do with the design work that I do is try to focus on what's the most important thing. If you're offering a promo, let's highlight the promo. Let's lead with that, right? And then if you have some other accolades, if you know have 1,000 reviews on Google, 5-star reviews on Google, let's add that on there. And then try to limit to the call to action. Do you want people to call you? Do you want people to email you? You know, them to submit a form? You know, a lot of times it makes more sense to do like a lead form just because it's easier to track, like this is coming from Facebook or from Instagram or from whatever platform that you're advertising on, so you can start tracking to see like what's really working for you in your marketing. So yeah, back to this. So this is the Summer Brilliance package. It's going on from April 1st through September 30th, and it has all the pricing here. Their logo is interesting because it's like off. Saying I should zoom in. This spacing here is a little bit tighter than this spacing here. So, and it's just not a super legible logo. You know, it's not super distinctive. If anything, I might just go down to this here, Lawrence Automotive Detailing, and kind of scratch the rest of it. The what's included, a lot of this stuff can be handled on your landing page. If you're doing landing pages, this would be perfect information for you to kind of like spell out. You know, it comes with tire sheet shine, leather conditioning, if you have leather seats. You know, I get that as a small business owner, you want to say, hey, here's all the information. So a couple things that I want to call out for sure. I will change the summer, like I'll keep the Summer Brilliance package. I'll try to do now through September 30th. And then we'll say starting at $2.99. We'll throw a little disclosure on there. Come from marketing in the banking world, so we throw disclosures on everything. And the disclosure will be sure to say starting at, you know, for smaller vehicles, follow up for just different vehicle types. I get that calling out the $2.99 might be a little bit deceptive, but we're clear with our disclosures and we're not being super deceptive, because it is true. Like $2.99 is for the small vehicles. We haven't stated it out, and if it's not on the landing page, we'll make sure they add it on the landing page if they're doing that. I'm just in charge of the design work right now. So yeah, basically, yeah. Let me just pull this into Photoshop, and so for most of the art that you're going to do, we'll start at like 1080 by 1080. All right, so I'm not going to try to match the font super close right now. I'm just gonna kind of put something out there. So summer, and we call it Brilliance package. Okay, let's make it white. Let's okay. Okay. So there's that. We'll still kind of keep the same structure, but you know, we're hired on to make some improvements. So I'm making those improvements. You have this in like a dinner font. So coming to change a little. Okay, and then I'm trying to use this color, so I'll have to do that. This background starting to get a little distracting, so I'm just gonna. Oh, and it's a gradient, so. Ain't lazy. just to kind of give me a little separation. What's included? I do like this little call out. Honestly, I think this might be a Canva design, so I don't want to follow it too close. I mean, I like Canva. I think it's great. I think that you can use it to like redesign stuff pretty quickly. The problem that I have with it is that a lot of people start using it, and then it's just like, I've seen that somewhere else. So it's not ideal. Again, I'm just gonna drop stuff in. I like that check mark, but I will just leave a space and move on for right now. I just want to kind of go. Then I said that $2.99, and even like, so you can vary up your text, right? It's like, most important thing that we're trying to do is like make sure that the $2.99, $300 basically is what we are calling out. We don't need to make everything the same size, because then everything seems like it's the same importance. You can tailor your message how you want to. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm distracted. Circle. And honestly, now that it's just one thing, I might make it all. So still kind of keeps to what they had done before, but just more conducive to what we're trying to do. Fill is white. Keep that now. And then, like I said, we're going to add a disclosure of raw. Actually, this is starting at, yeah, there's a lot of money in research being done in the advertising world from the banking side or from car dealers and stuff like that. They don't have a bunch of different prices on their ads, at least not all at the same time, right? For example, sometimes they talk about, you know, leasing or buying, and they have different options for that. Sure, like I get that aspect of like mixing it in there, but you know, sometimes you just got to follow what they're doing. I tried the wrong one, didn't I? Cool. So this is our offer. Okay. Oops. Okay, we'll get the logo in that later. This is too much text. So this is where I use GPT to help me kind of pare down stuff, like what's the most important things I want to say. So I do pay for the premium of ChatGPT because I think it's pretty useful. I have a couple of different GPTs in there to do different things. Right now I'm just using the basic GPT that everybody can have access to. So I'm not sure about everybody, but everybody that has paid has access to. So here's a screenshot, and then I'll tell it, I am redesigning Okay, so, you know, GPT, a lot of times people say, oh, just tell it to like help me make this better. I could definitely just say, hey, make this better for me. You know, but sometimes you don't get that message, that tone that you want, and sometimes it, you know, takes some creative liberties. You obviously need to like guide it, right? Like you need to tell it like, okay, this is where I want it to go. This is where I want you to go with this. So please, you know, follow along this way. So I told it that I'm doing Facebook ads. The problem is there's too much creative on it. There's too much text. I want to focus on 3 bullet points. I know that in design, it's best for 3 to 5 bullet points to convey your message. Sometimes you need those extra supporting points to make sure that you're getting your point across, right? So I'm going to start with 3. If 3 doesn't look good, or if it's pared down too much, we can go to 5. You know, it's not a hard, fast rule, but it's just like a guide that I kind of like to follow. For the prompt, I'm telling it, I'm already paring it down. And actually, I'll run this while it's doing that. I'm already paring it down and, telling it that I'm starting at 295, and then I'll have a disclosure. And then I just want to make sure that I get this right so I can get it to the paid ads team and they can implement as soon as possible. Time is money, right? Like I want to make sure that that gets conveyed. Cool. So it's pretty good. It reinforces that they do love cleaner, faster to read, creative. Here's what we want to do. The main goal is to make clear, fast, benefit-focused artwork. 3 bullets max, 1 strong call to action, visual, clean photo of a shiny vehicle, minimal text. This part I didn't say. Obviously, like I know that I want to have a CTA, but GPT is smart enough to know, okay, it's best to like make sure that we only have 1 CTA. We don't want to say call us, visit us, email us, all these different things, like all in the same time. What's your main thing? And then, let's add it here. Cool. So suggested copy for your redesign. Headline, Summer Brilliance package, which we have now through September 30th, starting at 299. Cool. Main bullets in the graphic, 12-week ceramic sealant for less. Deep clean inside out, wheels, tire, undercarriage scrub. This might be a little bit taking some liberties, right? So this is where you have to start correcting it. I don't know where these guys are from. Lawrence. Okay, New York. Okay, so that makes sense. I was thinking that they were Houston. I'm in Houston, so I guess South Texas. I thought, why would a dealer need to, or a detailer need to worry about undercarriage scrubbing? In the North, I guess the salt and all that stuff can actually need that. So, but I don't know if it's beneficial here in the summer, right? And then the other question I had was this 12-week ceramic sealant. So they have that on the creative. I also think like I don't work with this brand daily or anything like that, so I don't know their message. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't work with detailers in general either. But the issue is pretty much the same no matter what you do, right? Like, do you, as somebody that has no idea about what they're doing, do you understand what they're trying to sell? I don't understand what they're trying to sell with a 12-week ceramic coating. Yeah, so let me respond to that when I read your bottle. So okay, let me finish reading what they said. Call to action, book your shine today. I think that's cool. The disclosure here, why this works, ceramic sealant. So I guess they did explain it a little bit. The ceramic sealant sounds premium, focused on long-lasting shine. The problem is with 12 weeks, my head, I'm thinking like, is it only going to last 12 weeks? Then the deep clean, that's fine. Undercarriage highlight, people are mostly starting out. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to give it a little bit more detail and say that they're based out of New York. So I told it they're in New York, and then I'm giving GPT the website. I'm saying, check this out. Let me know what you think about, like, should we put something else in here? So I'm gonna let that run. So, AI is super powerful and it helps you kind of organize your thoughts and it helps you do a lot of stuff, but you still have to know what you want. You still have to know what good design is. You still have to know what a good script is, or what, the accounting for a small business would be. This should just help you clean it up a little bit and make it a little bit faster. Cool. So you're asking, I'm asking the right questions. Protective layer, why it matters, keeps it silent. That's the present last before it wears down. Not the shine, just vanishes at 12 weeks. If you call out 12 weeks, it'll think that it's short. Sounds like expiration date solution instead of calling it 12-week, long-lasting shine and protection. Okay. Second, undercarriage rinse. You're right. People looking at detailing assume. Restore that shine interior. Okay. Third, I check the website, good looking site, and decide good. Thanks. They look at protection and longevity, the tagline: clean, protect, drive, maintain. If there's some tagline or something like that, sometimes it is good to include, because you want to reinforce that brand that they have with their tagline. So care about quality and not just cosmetic shine. So then it ran it again. What's different? Long lasting shine, deep interior and exterior clean, premium hand wash with detailer's touch. Notice no confusing timelines, more emotional, professional feeling. Even shorter option if needed, protect your paint. I kind of like the main bullets that they had up here. Drop the tone. Okay, I think we're almost there. Yeah, just one more round. Sure, we could have just taken this from scratch, or taken this and said, okay, I want to get this done as soon as possible. But if I have questions about what they're presenting, then I'm sure other people might, right? I know that they initially had the 12-week shine on their ad. They approved this before, but I don't know, maybe because I know a little bit about detailing, in the sense that a lot of people, when they do the other coating, it's not for 12 weeks, right? It's like a 3 or 5 ceramic coating. When they do those coatings, it's not for 12 weeks, it's for years, right? So highlighting 12 week doesn't really seem like that big of a benefit. But to my point is yeah, we could have just taken this and say, okay, here, customer, here it is. But giving it a couple extra minutes of time to make sure that we can make it the best possible, I think that's at least my vision, with giving back to small business and stuff. Cool. So should we expand more than 3 bullets? No. Cool. I asked it, what do you think? And I guess this is more the way I use GPT. Sometimes it's good to just talk stuff out. I talk stuff out with GPT. So they're saying no, because a lot of Facebook users scroll fast. It performs better, if they can read it in 1 or 2 seconds. If you show 4+ bullets, they might be oh, I'm gonna read that. Which is back to our original problem, right? This is too much text, just way too much of that. I'm not, as a consumer, gonna read that. So should we include the tagline? Maybe, but not as a headline. Let's stick it in as the bottom, as a promise line. Okay. Okay, let's lean into the summer focus. Providing a clean card, road trip. So, okay, cool. So here's how it's structuring it. The tagline: now through September 30th, starting at $2.99. Long-lasting shine and protection, deep interior and exterior clean, premium hand wash with detailer's touch. Which actually didn't change. He didn't. AJ didn't. I guess the ad captions, but I'm not working on that. Summer's here, is your car ready? This is a clear sign that you're using GPT. A lot of people don't write with this hyphen. So one thing that I always do is tell GPT don't write hyphens. So I'm going to tell it to don't do that. Cool, so I'm going to keep working with this. That's going to be the same flow that I'm going to do, talk with GPT. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I'll come back when everything's kind of where I feel like it's good before I send it off to the client and say, what do you think about this? I'll try to focus on 1 or 2 designs because I think it's good especially for ads, it's good to have a variety, not just one running full for the full life of the campaign. So yeah, come back in a bit. All right, it's another day. I didn't get to finish those ads when I planned to, so I just wanted to jump in and show you where it ended off. As y'all will probably say, I was pretty rusty in Photoshop, so I switched over to Illustrator, and then I was just going back and forth with some of the stuff that I was thinking. So I ended up asking it for some some recommendations on like 3 punchy bullet sets that I could use. Then I was able to create 2 options. So let me get into the 2 option. And I ultimately ended up going with this. I sent it off today. I'm not sure client feedback is just yet, but so here's a good example that shows like this is what they sent originally. This is rough draft what I was doing in Photoshop. It wasn't moving as fast as I wanted to, so I switched out a bit, and then I came up with this as like the closest iteration to what they had, but still keeping it simple and clean. And then I kind of went back down to this, where it's a lot more, in my opinion, a lot more clear. Has the name of the promotion and then starting at, stands out quite a bit, shows you the date, some bullet points here, punchy bullet points, and then their logo. Their logo was a little bit of a problem for me, so that might still come back and say that we want our full logo, because this is the actual full logo. As you can see, it show you, it just gets a little, so in order for it to be legible, I have to scale this down, and then at that point you start losing what the name of the brand is, Lawrence Automotive Detailing. Have the call to action there. So call to action there, book now. So I made the 1080 by 1080, and then I made the story format there. Of course, there's probably room for improvement. You know, I wanted to show the full logo so they can at least, you know, get that on one of the ads. But realistically, this should all be pushed up right about here. You know, make space for all the stuff that Meta does on their stuff. But anyways, I just wanted to show start to finish how I use AI and how sometimes it's good to use GPT to like help you kind of workshop things. I knew that I wanted to simplify it from this, and I think brain this down. I think that still room for improvement. Obviously, I'm not saying this is going to convert like crazy. There's still like iterations of like, okay, we're still not getting good conversions, still need to get more leads or more phone calls or whatever the client wants. But at least you can see side by side that, you know, paring down a lot of times is easier for people, so they can read, so they can digest information, and just how I use it, my design skills and AI to like make that a little bit faster. So it was a little bit different video. Just wanted to share my process, and yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.